Hello and welcome to our webinar about getting your students started. The first thing that they're going to do to work with My Nursing Lab is log in. This could happen a couple of different ways depending upon whether you're using a learning management system or not. If you're not using anything like that, they may be signing directly into mynursinglab.com. Otherwise, you may be having them log into their learning management system or working perhaps with some other integrated products. Once they are logged in, you're going to want to show them how to navigate around, give them a couple key resources, and so forth. So let's take a look at that. The first thing you want to point out to them is this tab, running the browser check. This is really important. You can also take the URL from this at the top of the page and email this to your students. They're going to want to run this on their computer. This makes sure, for example, that they have Adobe Reader. You can see that this sample here is missing that, so you would need to install that. Third-party cookie check, things like that. At the bottom of this page, you'll see that there's information about troubleshooting, also looking at system requirements and product support in case your students have any questions about what version of a browser they should be using or some other issues. The next thing you're going to want to do is to show them some resources. Now, depending on the course, some of these resources might be slightly different or laid out differently here. You may be using a learning management system, as I indicated, so they may not see these tabs, but you would want to navigate them around in your learning management system, but they would still see these resources. You would want to make sure to show them information about how to succeed in this course. This explains to them the idea of the learning path and that you have practice materials in here. If you haven't shared that tab with them, it's easy to click directly to a learning path and demonstrate to them how this is organized. All of the learning paths are set up so that they have access to the material. They're going to do things like taking some pre-tests, working through some basics, doing some follow-up assessments. They can also click to other learning paths and click through that material as well. At any time, if they want to see how they've been doing, they're going to click on completed work. Completed work will show them what they've done, when it was submitted, how much time they've spent, and what their score was. It's always good to show them too how their overall score is computed, so they can click to show calculation. It'll show them how things are weighted and how they earn the points in their course. Another thing you're going to want to do is to show your students how to navigate the e-text, whether it's a link from here or from your LMS. You're going to want to show them how to launch the e-text and navigate around. They can also access this from a browser or download the Pearson eText app on their iPad or their Android tablet and access class materials. You also want to show them the multimedia library. This gives them resources for each of your units, such as videos and practice lessons to review with. So we can click to find now, and you can see all sorts of information here, review materials, animations, and more. You would want to focus on course resources for them, showing them that there are files in here for procedure review, drug review, again, videos and animations, and there's also student support. Student support helps them find resources such as setting up their browser, trying to figure out perhaps why certain functionalities are not working on their iPad. Also looking at, for example, information about accessibility. This is really important if you have a student that needs some accommodations or they need to, for example, navigate with the keyboard. So students can search student support. That will open up a tab that has some basic videos for them about setting up their computer, how to get started working, a user guide, accessibility information. They can also just quickly search the help for students. And this again will cover lots of different categories such as working an assignment, how to review their results, even understanding the icons and conventions that are used in Pearson's MyLab and Mastering products so that they can see what the different little tools mean as they're working through the course. Again, so pending the type of integration you're using, we will provide you with information to help your students get enrolled, but once they are in the product, they would be working through these tools and using these materials. One of the other things you want to use and be sure to show them is how to actually access resources when you're in a particular assignment. So if you're in a particular assignment and you click, for example, into the pre-test, you can show them how to take a test and work through this. So they would click to start a test. They would proceed to answer the questions. When they're done, they would submit a test. And then they would be able to review their test or go back to their learning path. And then they would be prompted to do the next assignments. Now, again, this particular course has prerequisites in place. You want to explain to them what the green flags are. That reminds them that they have other work that they need to do first. So they need to particularly watch this animation or video and review that work, and then they can come back and continue on to another assignment. So if they are on a particular problem and they need to practice it, you want to show them that there are resources to help them. If they're doing something classified as a homework assignment, they may have a little tutorial here, they may have some media available, and they also have the option to ask my instructor. So this will click directly to your email. The student can ask you a question. You will see the exact link to the question as well as the work that they've done so far. So that's a way that they can communicate with you and or access some other materials. So again, make sure to navigate them through the course menu, showing them how to access their learning path and resources, also how to access their e-text, how to work with their multimedia library, how to see the work that they have finished, and more. And again, remind them if they're accessing their learning path, they will see this calendar. It will show them when things are due and when things have been completed. Depending upon your course setup, there's also an assignments due tab as well as an announcements. This will contain any announcements that you've created and shared. And again, that may be slightly different depending upon whether you're using a learning management system. That's all for today. This was just a very quick little webinar. We will connect up again and take a look at how do I work with my students in my course, assessing their performance. So I look forward to talking to you then. Thank you so much for attending our webinar. Have a great day.